someone else to do. I've tried to hire people to do the vines, and I don't think anybody really wants to do it. It's not a fun job. They have huge prickly thorns on them. Gloves don't really protect you. You have to use a lopper or something with long handles, which I have. They didn't have the right tools. And it takes a long time, and then you have to collect it all. It pokes you again, and it goes right through the clothing. You have to have leather clothing for it not to poke you. And it's not fun to clean up the Oregon blackberries. There's a lot of them. They grow fast. There's good fruit on there. It's sweet, but the thorns are a real nightmare. And it's like that every year. There's also a giant pear tree in the backyard. I guess I could walk around and see if this night camera works. So I'm fixing to put some kind of a steel gate here over this door to hide it. They just cover the whole thing. And that will prevent anybody who notices that I'm gone from camping out in my house, because I'm not allowed to have guests at all here unless it's for 3 weeks, and they would have to. I can't sublet, basically. That's why I was getting kicked out of my old place. Because renting out to Airbnb is subletting. It's a violation of the lease. So I don't really use this table for eating, obviously. I use it for storing mail and supplies, and it's basically the mail room. And this is my kitchen. This is a 1971, what is it called, Buddy. It's not really a trailer, it's a manufactured home. It has that 50s look, but it's really supposed to be 70s. I don't like the white, but it looks good on Craigslist, and it looks good in photos because it was clean, and it's still pretty clean. But it looks kind of like a laboratory, and if I were looking at houses, and if I had a choice, I would look at this and say, I'm going to have to paint it. It's going to take a lot of time, and I have other things to do, and it's too white. So he looked a little disappointed when he did come back to put the tarp on the roof that got torn up, but I don't know what he was expecting. Did he think I would have it all painted up by now? Because I didn't really care for myself. But if I see that a house down the street is selling for $30,000 and I paid $10,000, I don't think I overpaid that much, except for he didn't tell me about the leaky roof that cost $3,200 to fix, or the how shall we put it, falling apart main sewer line that he forgot to tell me about that nobody inspected for 50 years that cost $1,300 to fix. Or the fact that he took the key with him and I had to get a locksmith to change the lock for $99, and that's Johnny Locksmith. And I have my receipts. It's not a big transaction. It's not rocket science. I'm just going to go to the small claims court and say, hey, Judge, there's 3 receipts directly related to things that he forgot to tell me about in his Craigslist ad, and he didn't mention for the 2 or 3 days that we were driving around Springfield. And it doesn't add up to more than the limit. In fact, it's like it's less than half the limit that I could sue him for, and I just want my money back. So if I get that and fix up the house, I will probably sell. And so that's one motivation for painting, but it's not a huge priority right now. I'm starting to think that I don't want white here, and that the ceiling is ugly. And eventually I want to change the lights out, and if I have a contractor I can trust and communicate with, and if I can communicate with him, I trust him. He shows up, I trust him, does what he says. Then yeah, I'll do what I more or less did in the other house, but learning from my mistakes, spending less. I didn't really overspend, but the idea is kind of like Martha Stewart, to spend as little as possible to make it nice and cheerful, and then to make a profit. But you're living in each home for 2 or 3 years. I am. I'm not a flipper in the sense that the guy who sold it to me was a flipper. He didn't live here. He didn't care what it would be like for someone who lives here. He just wanted to make money on his investment quickly. And he bought it in February and he sold it in April. And the paperwork was screwed up and I unscrewed it up. But there were a lot of little things wrong with it. When I started making a list for him, he said, oh, I sold it to you as is, and it's an old house, and blah, blah, blah. He did not sell it to me as is. There was no contract. There is anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'm supposed to show you the camera, so. That's my living room. It's basically a reading room and an exercise room and a very stained carpet because the dog has diarrhea, and that's the second Hoover, and there's going to be a third Hoover replacing that because it's still leaving stains. And it doesn't smell, it's just stained. It's a beige carpet, and Kaka is also beige in different shades, and so he's 10. He'll be 10 next week. And he never did this until about after we came back from Istanbul. He started having problems digesting his food, and we've been through every food that is for sale for dogs, and I don't know what to feed him, and so we're going to the vet next week. We're going to go to a local vet. Let's go outside and see if the camera works outside. Oh, I left the light on. Let's turn the light off. Well, I can't see that. Let's turn the light back on. So this is my porch. I like to come out here, and I shouldn't leave tools. It rained. It hasn't rained in like 5 weeks or something, but tonight it rained. And I needed the rain because you can see what the lawn looks like. It's all brown. Gnarls. No funny business with the cats. So we can't see any stars tonight, just rain clouds. This shrub is just camouflage. Come back, liver, liver, come here. So I don't know if you can. Gnarls, come here. Come here, liver. Come on, liver. Come on, liver. So the pear tree is yonder, and it's in my yard, and it's my responsibility, supposedly. I'm not sure about that because I didn't plant it. It's gigantic. And I'm willing to pay somebody to take the pears off and do whatever with them. Eat them, distribute them, recycle them. I don't care. I'm not going to use them. So that's the tour of my house. I don't sleep much anymore. I often stay up for at least 36 hours at a time. I don't get tired. My son, if he's ever watching this, will know what I'm doing. I filter my water. I distill it because I believe that part of what's wrong with my leg shaking, the neuropathy, has to do with well water and arsenic. I just took a test in a lab, and the arsenic was extremely high, and so my reaction to that was to post it on Twitter because there's some people that I follow and who follow me who are naturopathic doctors, like Dr. Krishner, I think his name is. This is a steam distiller, and that's a steam distiller, and this is another filter, the Seychelles. So I'm like basically double filtering it, and then I boil it, and then I make coffee. And the dog also gets the clean water, but that's not helping his diarrhea. I don't know what is gonna help. So maybe the vet will have some answers. That's bleach water. So I clean everything with bleach, and then I use this Castile soap. I don't use any commercial stuff. I use distiller to clean the distiller. after every time I distill a gallon of tap water, there's a lot of white residue that builds up in that thing. So the dog is getting tupperish right now. This food is like people food, but it's not. It's for dogs. And then you're supposed to, I defrost it and then I give it to him. I think I'm going to finish these beans myself. And then that's for my juice. That's basically what I eat. I eat vegetables and he eats those frozen burger things. And then I give him bone broth on his kibble when he has kibble. And I avoid dairy. I don't have any dairy. No eggs, no dairy, no meat. I eat a little fish. And there's almost no what's the word I'm trying to think of? Processed foods. There's hardly any processed foods in here. That pig stuff is also dog medicine. It's from a vet supply place. So, I don't know. There's a lot of old people here with old dogs. Maybe they have some magic. He's not really sick. He has a lot of energy. He has a lot of energy and he runs around and he's chasing cats, and you saw what he just did. He barks at the mailman and he's quite doggy, but the shit every other time comes out very liquidy, and it's just it's not, I don't want to say he's driving me nuts, but it's a test of my love. It's a real lesson in love, because a lot of people in my place would just take him to the vet and get a new dog, but he's been loyal to me. He's been my best friend. These no-cow things are really good. This is my favorite flavor too, vanilla, caramel. I've tried all of them, and the only ones that I can actually taste are those. I can't taste anything, it all tastes the same, but it's taking the weight off, so that's good. So I was 222 at my highest, and now I weigh about 189, 188. I bought all these little things a couple of days ago on Amazon after I stopped payment on an order that was not something I wanted, and the bank canceled my old card and sent me a new one, and halfway through my shopping experience they canceled the new one, or they froze it. And so I called them up on Relay and I said, what the hell are you doing? You know, it took me about an hour to get a hold of somebody. I said, you just sent me a card in the mail and I just started buying stuff with it, and now you're freezing it again. And they said, it's suspicious. I said, what's suspicious? They said, Amazon. I said, I've been buying on Amazon since 2009. Why is it suspicious all of a sudden that I'm buying on Amazon? And what right do you have to question it? It's freaky that your bank that you've been dealing with since 1978 suddenly freezes your card because they can't trust you to spend wisely. What? Second guessing my purchases on Amazon. You see what I bought? This is for me to try to Skype. This is what Mark Frugal has. I bought the same filter. The rest of it is basically replacing everything I lost when I left for Istanbul. I just am still replacing the stuff from 2 years ago. Things that I had in my house that I don't know where it is. I guess my son packed it up or threw it away. So I have a knife here that is really hard to slice anything with. I just wanted to slice apples with it. It's so dull. Seems to be working. Oh, that's even better. That's a ticket. That's a good one. And that'll work. Just little stuff like Scissors I didn't have. I have one knife here. The seller gave me that knife. My furniture is from Goodwill, but I don't care.